I'm sorry, does that say Trae Young defensive highlights? You know defense is the one where they don't have the ball, right? Yeah, I do. And I think in the year 2025, 2026, Trae Young is no longer the worst defender in the league. Personally, I don't even think he's a net negative defender. But that's not the point of this video. I don't want to try to convince you that Trae's a great defender. I don't want to try to convince you he's a good defender. I just want you to give me the benefit of the doubt to see a few clips of why I think Trae has improved drastically. Since coming into the league in 2018, Trae Young has averaged about one steal a game, but the eye test obviously tells a different story. Whether it be not physically being able to match up against the defenders, his situational awareness on defense, or just flat out effort, Trae Young has been one of the worst defenders in the league, up until these last few years. This first clip, I wanted to show you how Trae Young's physicality has improved throughout the years to a very passable level, like NBA level. This first clip, we see Suggs try to take him to the hole and just kind of bully ball his way into an easy layup. But in years past, this is probably a free layup. But here we can see that Trae bodies him up, swipes down, and gets the ball. And this physicality not only like directly causes turnovers and more difficult possessions for the offense, but indirectly causes it. And in the second clip, Anthony Black tries to body him up and get physical with Trae, but we all know Trae. He's very crafty and, you know, surely you don't have any bad words for stuff like this, but it works. You know, it's an offensive foul, it's a turnover, and it gets them the ball back. So at the end of the day, that's all you can hope for out of a Trae defensive play where he's involved early in the play. This third clip is another example of Trae Young's physicality. Here we can see Anthony Black getting a screen, Trae fighting over it, and Trae just getting in the mix, has a bunch of defenders near him, and forces an errant pass. I think this is kind of more of a poor play on the Magic, but there's no denying that Trae had a very significant role in this turnover. Whether it be getting over the screen, being physical, sticking with the play, and kind of like not allowing anything easy. Bad play by Black, but that's besides the point. This fourth clip might be my favorite one because it's just all-encompassing what I think Trae has improved on just in general. So starting at the play, Trae's in the corner and he's the weak side defender. This play, you'll see that first, Trae defends the pick and roll, not allowing Paolo to get a free layup. That's the first and most important role. The next thing he does is he forces a difficult skip pass to the corner. This causes a relatively errant pass and no catch and shoot available because he had good position and forced a difficult angle for the passer. Here, he's got Black in the corner with about 7 seconds on the shot clock, and he knows that Dyson Daniels is the guy, and Dyson immediately forces another errant pass and a turnover for the Magic. Now you might be thinking, oh, this is just the Magic, like, you know, it's not impressive playing good defense against Magic, but this is without Pingus Tingus. This is without their number one pick, Zachary Reese. Like, this is not the defense that we're going to have all year. This is not the defense that might be significantly better than last year. This is the defense we pretty much had last year, and Trae's still being able to make a significant difference. Speaking of why the defense is significantly different than years past, I wanted to highlight this play where last play, you know, we saw that in the corner, weak side defender, Trae's able to cover the pick and roll man. He's able to kind of force errant skip passes. In this play, we could see that getting Dyson Daniels involved in the play is trouble for the other team. Dyson Daniels, 3 steals a game last year, and here gets another one. And right here, if we notice one thing, standing still, like a few players in the play. But look at Trae. He's fucking full speed sending it. After the tip ball, he's up the court, and if there's one player in the league that you'd want the ball in a fast break, it's this guy. And, you know, even though this isn't strictly a Trae Young defensive highlight, I still wanted to highlight just kind of the threat that he is in the open court and how it's not necessarily on defense, but being able to react so quickly to a Dyson Daniels highlight and beat every other player up the court, I do think is significant. in this next clip, I wanted to show how Trae Young works around pick and rolls. The last, 7, 8 years, it's been obvious that the other team would just attack Trae every single opportunity they have. They would the game plan send Trae up, get Trae on your, one of your best players and let them cook. But here we could see Trae starts to hedge the screen, gets back to his defender, forces a difficult drive, and then another errant pass. I think in the box score this was initially a block, which I'm not sure if this is a block or a steal. But regardless, it's a great defensive play from Trae. He stopped the defense being able to pick on him like years past, whether it be Trae or, Atlanta coaches. Trae would be on an island and would get absolutely cooked for breakfast if this was like 3 years ago. But maybe it's a Snyder thing, maybe it's a Trae thing. But being able to kind of hedge, get back to your man, and make a solid stop, I think is incredible for this Hawks team. This next one, in addition to kind of the physicality, the awareness, the everything, another thing that drastically has improved with Trae is kind of being in the play through the entire play. Here, I'll let it play throughout one time. Wendell Carter, he gets the offensive rebound and then gets fouled for 2 free throws, which might not seem like much, but as somebody who's watched 500 Trae Young games the last 8 years, I guarantee you 3 years ago he's floating out for an outlet pass. He's floating out and kind of like slowly walking backwards over here, and he's not really involved. He trusts his teammates to, get the offensive or get the defensive rebound, kick it out to him, and run a fast break. Like, I absolutely guarantee you that 2 years ago Trae is almost at half court right now. But this year, something that, even though this play didn't work out for the Hawks, I think it's so significant that Trae gets down here with the tall, scary Giants, takes a swipe at the ball, almost gets the steal. He doesn't. But just the fact that he played through this whole play and was there. Like, I don't know if that's setting the bar low, but I really want to highlight that Trae has been defensively more situationally aware this last, season and a half than I've ever seen before. And I wanted to highlight just kind of how he's locked in. And then this last clip that I wanted to show is kind of the significance of just the culmination of everything. We're in a late game situation. It's a 2-point game. I know you can't see it with like 3 minutes left. And they try to get a screen on Trae. Trae slips and gets back to his man. And then after a shot from Paolo, he doesn't get the rebound. But look, he looks off his man. He's aware of the situation. He's willing to get down there. He's willing to fight for a rebound. Even though he doesn't get it, they clear it. They take a 4-point lead, and that's the game. I think, as I mentioned at the start, this isn't trying to convince you that Trae's the best defender. He's not even a good defender. But he is absolutely no longer the negative, worst defender, absolute liability that you've ever seen before. That's not Trae. Not only does Trae give you these 3-minute stretches where he gets an assist, and then the lob, and then a 3-pointer, and then a floater. Like, not only does he give you these offensive spurts and just brilliance with the ball, but he's also not the negative defender that we've seen in years past, which I think is so incredibly significant. Trae was out at the start of the second quarter, and the Magic instantly go on a 15-6 run, like, just the second Trae hits the bench. And it's not even because offensively the production went down. Defensively, Trae was locked in this game. He had 3 steals, +8 in a 4-point game. Just a really solid game. And this, despite the very small sample size, I think is significant of Trae's improvements throughout the year. And I think he'll continue to grow and be a very solid defender.